Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a doozy. We are going to be ranking my entire highlighter collection. So naturally I thought I'd wear a bright neon orange, neon yellow, neon green-ish yellow shirt because it's like a color you'd highlight a book with. Thought I'd wear this shirt to rank all my highlights for you guys. Not gonna lie, I've been putting this video off for a bit for filming, that is. And I even think normally I was going to post this, or I have been posting my ranking videos on Thursday. I'm filming this on Wednesday. Don't know that I'll get this edited and up by Thursday, so you might be seeing a different video Thursday and hopefully I'll have this up by Friday. But I've been putting this off because I have so many highlighters and I just know it's going to take forever to film this. But here we are, ranking my highlighters. So if you guys are interested, I have 36 highlighters to rank for you guys today. I might be missing some, won't be surprised. So if I do accidentally, in fact, I think I'm looking at one right now that I'm missing. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Fooled me. Okay. So I have 36 highlighters to rank for you guys today. It's going to be a long one. I'm going to try and breeze through some of these, just because otherwise we'll be here literally forever. But if you guys are interested in seeing how I would rank my 36 highlighters, then stay tuned. First, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe before moving on today. I do post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that's something that interests you, then don't forget to subscribe before moving on. And other than that, we'll just jump into this ranking. All right, you guys, as we do in all of my ranking videos, we're going to start with my least favorite and move my way up to my most favorite. So, whoopsies. My least favorite highlighter that is currently in my collection, I actually thought I decluttered this, but I guess I didn't. This is from Danessa Myricks DM Beauty, and this is their Dew Wet Balm, and this is what it looks like. So it is like a cream highlight formula, and I thought I was really going to like this, and actually I'm glad I didn't declutter this because I would like to try this again, but it's just a sticky formula and it does give like a glossy appearance to the skin, especially when I've swatched it on my hands. I've been really excited about it, but then when I put it on my cheeks, I just don't get the same effect and it just doesn't look good on my skin. I'm going to try it a few more times since I do still have it in my collection, but in the past when I've tried this, I have not been a fan. And then my 35th least favorite highlight is this one from Milk. This is their highlighting stick in the shade Turnt, and the reason I don't like this is just because it's packed with glitter. I don't know how well you'll be able to see. I actually really like the Milk Lit stick, which is one of their highlighting sticks, but this is literally like a glitter stick, and the only reason I still have this is because I'm going to try and use this as a body highlight this summer so that I'm not wasteful and can get use out of this. I feel like I got this in like a little set. I can't remember how this came into my life, but definitely not a favorite. 33 and 34 I'm going to kind of bundle together. These are 2 from Fenty Beauty, and I know what you guys are thinking. Steph, Fenty Kilowatt highlights? I thought these were some of your favorites. Are you a liar? No. I do love the Fenty Kilowatt highlighting formula, and I will have some to share much higher in my ranking video. But these 2, I think it'll be very obvious why these are ranking so low. I mean, these really are more like eyeshadow, foiled eyeshadows to me than they are highlights. The only one that I really can get away with as a highlight is this one right here, which is in the shade Sandcastle, which I actually have in a mini that I'll rank later. But you know, colorful highlights on the cheek used to be a trend, and even when it was a trend, I tried to do it, but it just didn't really work well for me. So these on my cheeks, not a huge fan, but I do keep them around to play around with them all over the lid. I do enjoy using, especially I've been really into pinks and purples, and this has been nice for like inner corner highlight and even lid shades as well. So that is why I keep these around, but for the cheeks, definitely not favorites. Coming in at number 32, I have this one from Jouer. I actually have this on my cheeks today. Okay, great. Nothing seems to be going right when it comes to anything today. If you guys could see my skin up close, you would probably be horrified. It looks so bad. I also filmed my finale for my Roulette Paint collab with this. I changed shirts, but I said in that video too, like my skin up close right now is horrifying. But coming in at number 32, we have the Jouer Skinny Dip Highlight. This is what it looks like. And the reason I'm ranking this one so low, it is a little bit more, like the formula is interesting. It feels powdery, but then it does swatch really buttery. This is something that will only work for me if I am a little bit more self-tan, just because it is more of a like medium gold, and it just wouldn't work for me if I was much fairer than I am now. Even right now, I feel like it might be a little bit dark for me. I think it's a really, really beautiful highlight, and I think on medium to like medium deep complexions it would be absolutely stunning. It's just not one that I feel like works that great on my skin tone, which is totally fine, but that's why I'm ranking it there. And then coming in at number 31 is my little mini sandcastle, and again, same thing with this one. I like the formula. This one, it's so pretty, but just a little bit too dark for me. In fact, actually that Jouer Skinny is probably a better option for me than even the Sandcastle. Just a little bit deep for me and my skin tone. I still think it's really pretty. I've used this to highlight my shoulders a few days when I've gone out, and I've really enjoyed it that way. This is definitely more of like an icy, almost bronzy shade than the Skinny Dip is more of like an actual like gold glow. So I actually might trade those two, but we'll just leave it for the sake of the video. Coming in at number 31, it used to be more of a favorite for me, but I just feel like the Essence Pure Nude, there's just other highlights that are a little bit more like soft and neutral. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it swatched. That are a little bit more soft and neutral. So if I'm wanting something a little bit more soft and natural, not neutral, there's others that I prefer. I really prefer the more subtle side of the Fenty Kilowatt Highlight in Lightning Dust. And I just reach for that one so much more often when I'm going for a more natural looking highlight. So I'm just not reaching for this one that much anymore. But the nostalgic person in me can't get myself to declutter this either. And I like having it around to kind of compare to other formulas too. It just feels a little bit chalky too, which it is, you know, a less expensive highlighter, but just the actual texture isn't my favorite. Coming in at number 30, these have not been in my collection long, and I actually do really like these. I actually have these laid underneath my foundation today. These are the iconic London Illuminators, and the reason I'm ranking this so low is just because this is not my preference when it comes to highlight. I don't love a liquid highlight. I've been getting more into creams and liquids, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, but just right now, the way that I do my makeup, I find liquid highlights a little bit hard to work with, and I'm still learning how to best use this. But I do think this is beautiful, and I would be interested in trying other shades and just playing around with this a little bit more. I don't know the price on these, but I feel like they're a little bit more expensive too. So I don't necessarily, if you love liquid highlights, like I think this is beautiful. But if you're not a liquid loving gal, I probably would just skip these because I think they are on the expensive side. I'm losing track of where we are. I think we're at 29. 29 is going to go to my mini Cocoa Bling highlight, and I actually really enjoy the loose highlighter formula from Artist Couture. The Cocoa Bling highlighter I actually have swatched like right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's just very icy, and I feel like I can't get away with this on the cheeks. I want to try this on the lids, but on the cheeks it's just too icy. Even when I'm really pale, it's too icy, so I can't really get away with it as a cheek highlighter, and that's why I'm ranking this so low. Next up, I know a ton of people love this highlighter. This is the Ofra Star Island highlighter, and I do think that this is beautiful. It's just a little bit, I just find the Ofra highlights to be a little bit intense. They're just a little, like, they are just so, like, even on first application, they take no building, and they're so intense that that's not always what I'm going for with my highlights. So that's why I'm ranking this one at number 28. And then at number 27, I have this one from Milk. I really like this formula. It's the shade for this one that just doesn't do it for me. So this is in the shade Iced. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I'm running out of space to, like, actually swatch. The formula on this is so soft and buttery. I have not felt a highlight formula that feels quite like this. It's just a little bit too yellow gold. Now this is going to give you a very intense highlight. I know I just said I don't love that, but this looks like it blends into the skin so well. It just looks not natural because it's so beaming, but it just looks like it's like your skin, like it's melted into your skin. It looks wet on the skin, and I think it's beautiful. Again, it just really comes down to shade on this. I have another shade in this formula that I will be ranking higher. And I actually purchased this thinking I was purchasing the shade, I think Blitzed, which is more of a pink toned one, which I still really want to pick up because I love pink tone highlights. But unfortunately this one is number, I think, 27. Coming in at number 26, I have this little mini guy from Becca. This is in Vanilla Quartz. And again, this one just has almost more of like a yellow gold pull to it. Again, I'm like swatching over things at this point, and right now I'm too lazy to go to my bathroom to actually wash my hands and start over. It just feels a little bit too yellow gold. I thought I was going to love this one. Now I do like mixing this from time to time with different highlights, and I still enjoy it. It's just not like a standout for me, and there are definitely other shades and highlights that I prefer over that yellow gold pull. So that is why this one is ranking where it is. I feel like this is another super unpopular opinion, but number 25, I think we're at, is going to my Flexitarian highlight from ColourPop. So I do like the Super Shock highlight formula, but this is just, again, so intense. It can pull too icy on me, and I just am not looking for something that intense and that icy on my cheeks. I do have another ColourPop highlighter that I prefer over this that I will be ranking higher than this. Again, I like the formula. It's just way too icy in my opinion for my skin tone. Next up has to go to my Laura Geller Charming Pink highlighter. And this, back in the day, would have ranked much higher. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this one. This is kind of like an icy pink highlight, and I love me a good pink highlighter, but I've realized over the years that I typically tend to prefer more of like a rose gold or just like a warmer pink highlight rather than an icier pink highlight, which is why this one is ranking where it is. Again, I still like this. I like the formula on this, but just not a fave, not like a tippity top fave. And then speaking of icy pink highlights, Pillow Talk from Ofra is going to be my number 24. Again, this is just so intense and so icy pink that it can be a little bit difficult for me to make this work for me in a way that I feel comfortable, especially if I think about like wearing this to work, would never do. So I just don't reach for this one all that often. I just prefer like a warm, natural-ish looking highlight, and unfortunately this one is just too icy for me to make work on like an everyday basis. And then speaking of highlights that don't necessarily work on an everyday basis for me, I have a Becca Prismatic Amethyst. This is my only full-size Becca highlight remaining in my collection. Part of that is for nostalgic reasons. Like, I just have very fond memories tied to when I purchased this. This was one of the first higher end products I purchased for myself, and I just remember I had been thinking about this and thinking about this, and I just remember the feeling, that physical feeling I felt when I purchased this. I was so excited. Here it is swatched, if you'll be able to see. It is like a duochrome highlight, but I've actually seen, I can't remember, I know it was from Lauren Everett of the Skinny Confidential. She was talking about how like a purple toned highlight can really enhance the cheekbones. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I had been playing around with this highlight after she said that, and this you can make look so beautiful, especially if you pair this with like a warmer like gold highlight on top to kind of balance the duochrome out. I love this. I still really do. Now, I don't wear this on an everyday basis, but I do still get excited to play around with this. So that's kind of why this is ranking like in the middle. Ooh, another pink icy highlight, Benefit Cookie. I do like this. This is just, again, very, very intense. This actually isn't that pink toned. I lied. I don't know why I thought it was pink toned. Here it is right here. It's just a little bit intense for day-to-day wear for me, so typically I'll only wear this when I'm filming, which is why I'm ranking where it is. I still think that this is a beautiful highlight, a really nice formula. I think I think Benefit did a really nice job with this one. What is the one that came out with this that is more pink tone? I'd be interested in trying that one if it's warmer. But this just isn't like my die-hard favorite like I feel like it is for others. Still think it's a nice highlight, just not a fave. I think next would have to go to my Makeup Forever highlight. I believe this is in the shade 1. This is another pink tone highlight, and this was a staple favorite of mine for so long. Now, this is like an icy pink shade again, but in the winter time, I love reaching for this. Whoo! I love this highlight. It is it's just a really nice, kind of feels like luxury style of formula. And again, I have really fond memories tied to this one. This is one that I just could never see myself decluttering. And it's just, it is a really pretty pink highlight. I haven't reached for this recently, and this probably isn't something that I could make work for me in the summertime. But come fall, winter, ooh, I love reaching for this guy. Next, I have to give it to my Milk Lit Stick. I really do like this. I love Milk's cheek and cream products because I think they're so easy to work with. I don't know how well I'll be able to swatch this for you. This just gives a really nice, glossy, almost just like healthy glow to the skin. It looks very natural. I love wearing this on my bare face to the gym to make it look like I'm sweating before I even made it into the gym. So if I don't even push myself that hard, I can trick my husband into thinking that like I really gave it my all. So I love this one from Milk. This is something that I would always want to have in my collection. The Milk cheek products I just think are superb. I just don't reach for this one as much as some of my other highlights because, again, I feel like I reach for my powder highlights over my cream and liquids a lot more often. But by far, one of the best cream slash liquid highlighting products I have ever tried. Next, I'm going to rank these two together. So these are my I Love Sarah E Dose of Colors highlights. These were favorites either last summer or the summer before. I was obsessed when these first released. I bought Soulmate first, which was the pink toned one, and it was so intense, and I was really into an intense highlight at that time. Here it is swatched right here, and as you can tell, this one's a little bit more of like that warmer pink. It's not so icy. It's almost like a rose gold, which I really, really love. And honestly, if I want a very intense warm rose gold highlight, this is what I'm reaching for. I have this pulled in my Shop My Stash right now. I have this pulled in my Shop My Stash right now, and I plan to reach for this a ton this summer because I just think it's absolutely stunning in the summer, especially if you are looking for just a very beaming highlight. And even though this is kind of powdery to the touch, I do still feel like it gives that like glossy, wet look to the cheeks, which I really love. So naturally, because I fell in love with that one, I had to pick up its sister, which is in the shade Soulmate, which is a little bit deeper. It doesn't work quite as well for me unless I'm very self-tan, but this is more of like the golden one. But still, if I blend this out nicely onto my skin, I can make this look really, really beautiful. Still very intense. It's going to be intense when you reach for either of these, but I absolutely love these. I know these were limited edition. I don't know if you can still get them. Sometimes I randomly feel like they still have some of their limited edition Dose of Colors products. I think that these are great. Next up would have to go to my NARS Fort de France highlighter. Again, the texture on this is so smooth and buttery, and this one is nice for times that I want a more subtle highlight. This is definitely one that you can do more subtle, or you can build it up to be a little bit more intense, but I appreciate that it has that building factor. So when thinking about products that I'm reaching for that more subtle highlight over that Essence Pure Nude, this is definitely one of them. I also like that I feel like this one is something that works for me just all year round. Again, if I didn't say I have this shade at Fort de France, here it is kind of blended out a little bit. It's just such a beautiful highlight. It's so easy to work with. You could use this on your fingers and tap it onto the cheeks, or use a brush. Just a very soft, thin formula, and it does give that wet effect to the cheeks. I really think the NARS highlight formula is really nice, and I don't get super excited about a lot of NARS products, but I think that the highlights are really good. Next up, we'll have to go to my very, very, very old MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This is beautiful, you guys. This is very old. I'm sure mine doesn't perform like if I had a new one, and honestly, you probably can't even tell where things are swatched at this point. This is nice because it almost is like a mixture of rose gold and gold, or maybe that's just the way that it's swatched. But this just always I can rely on to look good on my skin. I can do this one, I can buff it out to be pretty subtle, or I can build this up to be pretty intense, and this is a never-ending highlight because it's a baked highlight. I will never go through this. This is so old already. I will never go through this. Just something I know I can always rely on. So I really do like the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. And if I didn't say I have the shade Soft and Gentle, I would be interested in picking up like the updated packaged formula. I don't know if it's reformulized or just in new packaging, but it would be nice to possibly just upgrade to the newer packaging so I'm not so embarrassed every time I pull this out. But it would just pain me to get rid of something that's still performing. Next up would have to go to my Persona Zuma highlight. I love this, but this one is one that only works for me when I have a nice self tan, just because it is a little bit more of like a deeper gold shade. Stunning. And this is one that truly does give that wet effect to the cheeks. That's one of my favorite finishes. It's just when it looks super glossy and juicy and wet on the cheeks. I love this formula. If Persona had like a warm pink highlight, instantly I would snatch it up. I hope that there's not one out there that I just have not seen. Also, have you guys tried their blushes? Very interested in trying Persona blushes. But I think that this has an outstanding formula. I love this. Even on the lids, this is beautiful on the lids, especially if you're just doing like, if you wanted to do very minimalistic summer makeup and toss this as your highlight, you do your highlight bronzer, and then you can take your bronzer and your crease and do this all over the lid. Such an easy look. Love this one from Persona. Highly recommend it. Next up is going to be my ColourPop Lunch Money Super Shock highlight. I do have pan in this. This one works so much better for me than Flexitarian. I hope you'll be able to see it swatched here. This is another one of those that I can make be very subtle on the cheeks, which I really appreciate, and I just think the shade works really well for me. It's a very, very soft gold that can work for me when I'm many different skin shades as I'm self-tanning, so I love this one. I've had this for, I think, over a year at this point, and mine still has not dried out, and it performs really, really well. So if you think that Flexitarian is too icy for you, I recommend checking out Lunch Money. I think this one is bomb. Next up is going to go to my Dior Nude Luminizer, and this one is in the shade 1, which is this beautiful champagne shade. Again, I'm running out of room to swatch. This just feels luxurious to use. It glides onto the skin really nicely. It has a very buttery, soft texture. It looks wet on the skin. It is pretty intense. This isn't going to be a subtle highlight, but there's a piece of like you're feeling very luxurious as you use this. The compact is beautiful. I love this one from Dior. Highly recommend this one. I have another one that I love even more, but I think that this one is really, really nice. Very overpriced. Very expensive, but very nice. Okay, I believe we're at number 11. Number 11 is going to go to my Fenty Kilowatt highlighter in Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. These are obviously pink tone highlights, and honestly, I prefer to use these as more of like blush toppers. If I have like a matte blush that I want to warm up or just make my cheeks look again like juicy and glossy, I'll pop these on like the apples of my cheeks, and I just love the effect that it gives. It definitely would be too dark, as I'm out of space to swatch. It would be too dark for me to actually use on my cheekbones, but on like the apples of my cheeks to warm up a blush, highly recommend. Love this one. So now we are into my top 10. I honestly really love the majority of my highlights, but the top 10, it's like, ooh, love these. So coming in at number 10 is my other Artist Couture loose highlighter. This is in the shade Summer Haze, which I believe was limited edition or only went out to people who received it in their BoxyCharm. This is such a stunning shade. I actually have this on my cheeks today as well, and I think it is beautiful. It is like this rose gold shimmer with almost like a peach tinge to it too, and I just think it is so beautiful. I was so nervous and hesitant to use this for the first time because I was like, loose highlight, like this is going to be a mess and this is going to be a disaster. But I thought it was so beautiful, and every time that I wear this, I will like look at my filming or look at pictures of me with this on, and I'm like, girl, like your glow looks incredible. So I really love this one from Artist Couture. It definitely turned me onto the brand and made me want to try more. I still haven't picked up any more of the full size. I'm waiting to like get in store and swatch some shades and figure out what I think would best suit my skin tone, but this is amazing. Coming in at number 9 is an OG. It's the Mary Luminizer. This is such a stunning highlight. Beautiful. I feel like this would work for so many skin tones. It's just the base tone to it just works so well, I feel like, on a range of skin tones. And I just love this inner corner highlight, brow bone highlight, cheek highlight. I can just always count on Mary Lou. I think it is stunning. This is like one of the highlights that made highlighting a thing, and you gotta respect Mary Lou for that. So I definitely still love this one. I've had this for years. This was, I believe, my first single highlight in my collection, so it holds a very special place in my heart, and it's still a top 10 fave in my collection. Then coming in at number 8, I have my other Milk Flex highlighter, and this one is in the shade Lit. Looks like this. I just like love to swatch these because I love to touch these. Oh, beautiful. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that swatch, but it's like this gold. It almost does have a hint of pink in there. It is such a beautiful shade. Again, this is going to be very intense on the cheeks, but due to the formula, it just truly does melt into the skin and just looks like, almost just looks like that natural shine, but like natural beaming shine that you naturally catch from the light. I don't know how to describe it, but highly recommend the Milk Flex formula if you can find a shade that you feel like works well on your skin tone. It's just a cool formula. I have not felt a highlighter formula like this, and I love it. Coming in at number 7 is my other Dior highlight. This was the most I've ever spent on a highlight. This was when these were still like $56. Now they're $49. It has thicker compact, like a thicker compact. And I remember when I bought this, I was feeling so much guilt. I was like, why did you spend $56 on a highlight? But I don't regret it one bit. This is, I'm going to swatch it on my middle finger. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know if you'll be able to even see it swatched. It is an icier pink, but it still almost has like a bit of a warmth to it that I just absolutely love. Again, I have such a luxurious experience every time I reach into this and use this. I love this highlight. It turned me on to Dior highlights. That's why I bought the other Dior highlight. There's other Dior highlights that I'm interested in because of this. Again, it has a very unique texture, very soft to the touch, and it is stunning. It is beautiful. I love this one from Dior. And if I did not say, this is in the shade 2. Coming in at number 6, I have this one from Pixi. This is the Glowy Gossamer Duo and Delicate Dew. This is going to be a blinding and intense highlight, not for the faint of heart, but this has such a glossy, wet look to the cheeks. I love this, especially on days that I want a beaming highlight. This is immediately what I'm drawn to. I love that you have the pink side as well as the gold side. $18, a little bit more pricey for like drugstore, but you are getting 2 options for your highlight shades. And I think that the formula performs like true high-end makeup that you would purchase at like Sephora. So definitely recommend these from Pixi. Coming in at number 5 is this one from Bobbi Brown. This was a very impulse buy. I purchased this because I saw it on the Sephora website, I think 2 holidays ago. It was $25, and I really wanted to try Bobbi Brown like shimmer brick or whatever they call it. Here it is swatched right here on this finger. I don't think you'll be able to see it at all. This is almost like a rose gold highlight, but you can make it icier if you kind of swirl your brush up here. It goes from like a darker pink up to like an icy white. So depending on how you place your brush in to pick up product, you can get different effects. And I always get excited to reach for this. I remember, I think it was at the beginning of this year, I rolled it into a Shop My Stash and then rolled it out and then instantly rolled it back in because I missed it so much. I was just so impressed by this. And even though this little mini was $25, which sounds really expensive, I think it's definitely worth the money. If you can find, or if they release more minis, I highly recommend them. I wasn't a huge fan of the larger shimmer bricks, but it could have been because I didn't have a shade that was great for me. I just think that this is bomb, and I hope that they release more minis because I would definitely pick them up. Coming in at number 4 is an absolute favorite. As you can tell, I have major pan in this. This is the original Natasha De Nonna Glow. It's not the Super Glow, and I do have mine in the shade 1. This is just such a perfect, I don't have room to swatch, such a perfect everyday highlighter, and this is one that is subtle but can be built up to be more intense. And I don't have a lot else that I can say about this other than people have said it gives you like that almost like sweaty sex sort of vibe, just a very sexual appeal when you wear this highlight. And I always feel bougie when I wear this one because it is Natasha De Nonna. I do still want to try the Super Glow, but for right now I'm really good just with my regular glow. Coming in at number 3, I have my ABH Amrezy highlight. You can't deny this. I think the shade on this is very unique. I don't have anything quite like this in my collection. And even though I've said a yellow gold isn't always my favorite, this just works, and this looks so beautiful on the cheeks. Again, that wet sort of look, and just such a nice formula. I feel like I wish that they would release more shades in this formula. I love the wavy texture. This just feels luxurious using this as well, and I love the ABH Amrezy. I wish they would bring it back a 3rd time. You guys know I've been raving about this guy all year. This is Becca Rose Quartz. This is my favorite pink highlight. It's beautiful. It's warm tone. I like to either use this on the cheekbones and bring it down the apples of my cheeks. I like it just on the apples of my cheeks. I just love this. I can do so much with this, and every time I use this, I feel great about the way that my makeup looks. I just have the mini. I also have this shade in a face palette, but this is something that I would repurchase in the full size. I always want to have this in my collection because I have not found a pink highlight quite as perfect as this one from Becca. And then you guys know, I believe this was my favorite last year as well, the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlight in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. I have never found a more perfect highlight shade for my skin tone than the side that has Lightning Dust. Yeah, Lightning Dust. So beautiful. You can see I have major pan, and when I want to step it up a notch, I can just dip into Fire Crystal. I wish they made just a whole pan of Lightning Dust. I would buy like 3 of those. When I finish up this side, I absolutely will repurchase this because this has been a ride or die favorite for over like a 1.5 to 2 years now. So I love this one from Fenty. I want to try Mean Money and Hustla Baby next. Anyway, you guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's ranking my entire highlight collection video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much if you stuck around all the way to the end to watch. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know some of your least favorite and favorite highlights. And other than that, I will just catch you guys in my next video.